Plan for today. We are doing another reduction. Also, I have a list of problems which is somewhat exhaustive in the sense कि जो final की आपकी final में आपके पास problems आ सकती हैं. They're going to be one of these problems. Okay? Not the problems जो आपकी exam पे होती हैं, but the problems जिसके against I can ask you to prove के whether it's an NP hard or NP complete. Okay? So that list of problems. So if I get time, so I'll get to it there. Or फिर otherwise we'll do it on Wednesday. I'll share them with you, of course. उसके अलावा there is only one topic left जो हमने Wednesday और next Monday करना है. That's the approximation algorithms. Right, we'll probably do 2 or 3 approximation algorithms, and I'll leave 1 or 2 for you to practice on. Any questions? Are you good? Okay, cool. The reduction I want to do today is this one. Subset sum problem. We probably haven't defined it before, have we? Does anyone remember subset sum problem? हमने define किया या नहीं? No? All right. Cool. So subset sum problem is this problem. And this is one of those problems which I think are very different in flavor compared to the problems जो हमने अभी तक देखे हैं NP-completeness के अंदर. Okay? We have seen a Boolean formula, we have seen satisfiability, and we have seen उसके अलावा graph problems. I think these are the 2 flavors of problems जो हमने देखे हैं. This one is a numeric problem. इसके अंदर you have integers and you somehow correlate Boolean formulas to these integers. Okay? So problem is written over there. Your input is a set of integers. Okay? And a specific target integer. And your goal is to figure out a subset of integers whose sum is equal to the target integer. Okay? So for example, यहाँ पे you are given 3, 1, 4, 2, 6, and your target is 9. And there are numbers in S which sum up to 9, so it's a yes instance. So 3, 4, 2 sum up to 9, which is great. So this is a yes instance. Second case, let me just do this, उसके बाद I'll come to you. Your S is 3, 7, 11, 2. Target is 8, and there is no way to make 8 from the numbers in S. So it's a no instance of subset sum problem. Okay, go ahead.
Dynamic programming से polynomial time पे होगा?
Okay, no. Well, first of all, but let me actually hear the dynamic program. So he says that there is a way to solve this problem using dynamic program in polynomial time. Let's hear the proposal.
हमारे पास जो columns हैं, they are the remaining value that is left.
Okay.
Right, and the rows is the number of elements that we have access to, right? So like हर एक आप अगली row पे जाएंगे, we have access to the new element. So you have 2 choices, either to take that element or to not take that element. So knapsack type of problem basically.
Okay.
So if you take that if you take it, तो आपकी जो target है उसमें वो वाली value minus हो जाएगी, and then you just see कि वो minus से
That makes sense. It's just a copy of the knapsack dynamic program जो हमने class में किया था. Do you remember? Did we see anything about time complexity of knapsack problem जिसका हमने DP किया था?
like table की नहीं हो जाएगी, like
Right.
the rows into the number of columns. So that's polynomial.
No. Do you think about it? What would be the number of columns in this case?
The number of columns would be the target value. Like,
That's an interesting thing to think about. Okay, so number of the last column you are saying is the target value. Is that what you're saying? Okay, what's the column right before that? Okay. And what's the column before that? The first column is either 0 or 1, right? What's the size of this table? It's t times something, you know? And that's the time complexity of this dynamic program. Is this polynomial? Sorry, what? No, it's not polynomial because the time complexity depends on the value of t. If I only have, for example, यहाँ पे SS31012, so I have only 4 integers, जिसके बारे में मैंने check करना है. If I set my t to 10 to the power 10, which is 10 billion, my table size would be 10 to the power 10, which is not good, right? Okay, so the problem with the dynamic program for this problem, and also for the 0-1 knapsack problem, is that it depends on the values in your input. It does not necessarily depend on the size of the input. So it's not polynomial, it's exponential. Right? We had the similar discussion when we were talking about the primes problem. Remember? This is the same discussion. I think that if your algorithm depends on the value in the input, then it's not necessarily polynomial. Okay? Cool. Good question, though. Any other questions? No? Okay. So the plan for today is to convert an instance of 3-sat to an instance of subset sum problem. So आपके input में you are going to have a Boolean formula, which is going to be x1, x2 bar, or x3, and so on, right? Do I want to use more than 3 variables? Probably not. Let's see. x1 bar, x3 bar, and x1 or x2 or x4. Okay. इस तरह की किसी चीज़ को हमने कन्वर्ट करना है इस तरह की किसी चीज़ के अंदर. Okay? Somehow we need to encode a Boolean formula into the integers so that if this is, again I said it multiple times when we were doing, to multiple folks when we were doing worksheet, there are 3 things that you check when you have a reduction. You check that yes instance corresponds to a yes instance of the target problem. And you check that a no instance corresponds to a no instance. And you check that it's polynomial. These are the 3 things that you check. If you verify these 3 things, तो फिर आपकी reduction is a valid, correct reduction. Okay? All right. Any ideas how we do this? How do we construct a Boolean formula into integers? Okay, so what you do is right. So in a Boolean formula, what you have is you have variables and you have clauses. Somehow you need to use the variables and clauses to construct each of these numbers. So these numbers will have n plus m digits. Okay, so where n is the number of variables and m is the number of clauses. So I will have a digit corresponding to x1, I will have a digit corresponding to x2, and I will have a digit corresponding to x3. I'll have a digit corresponding to clause C1. I'll have a digit corresponding to C2, and I'll have a digit corresponding to C3. But I had 4 variables, so I'm going to have x4 as well. Okay? So I will have a variable integer corresponding to each of these variables, each of these literals. So I'll have v1 bar, v2, v2 bar, v3, v3 bar. I'll have some slack variables जिसके बारे में हम बात करते हैं. And then we will have a target integers. Okay, so the number of digits is n plus m, and the number or size of s is, what's the size of s? जो टारगेट एस हम क्रिएट कर रहे हैं सबसेट सम प्रॉब्लम का, उसके अंदर कितने इंटीजर्स होंगे इफ वी यूज दिस? Generically, if I have n variables in the original formula and m clauses, how many integers are going to be in S? His hands? Sorry, what? दोबारा देखो. So v1 corresponds to an integer. v1 dash also corresponds to an integer, and so on. Okay. So the number of digits in each integer is n plus m, and these are the number of integers. How many integers do I have? बोलो. n plus. बोलो. Why? No. थोड़ा सा दोबारा. So इस केस में, for this Boolean formula, how many do I have? How many do I have? यहाँ पे बोर्ड पे गलत है. Okay, so I'll have how many variables are there? x4. So I'll have a v4 and v4 dash. I'll have more. उसके बारे में हम बाद में बात करेंगे. But for now, how many do I have? बोलो. क्या? So don't I have exactly 2n integers? No, I don't have. मैंने तो नहीं बताया आपको. Right? Okay. Zainab, Amna, Manish, you door close कर देंगे? Thank you. Okay, so do we agree that I have 2n integers for each Boolean formula? बोलो. So देखो, जो चीज़ मैंने प्रोड्यूस करनी है ना, वो ये है. मैंने s प्रोड्यूस करना है. s is a set of integers, और मैंने एक वेरिएबल t प्रोड्यूस करना है, टारगेट. ओके, सो s के अंदर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि I will have a v1, I will have a v1 dash, I will have a v2, v2 dash, and so on until I reach vn, comma vn dash. Okay, अब what is v1? v1 is going to be equal to something जो मैंने बताना है अभी, but this is the number of digits of v1. v1 is an integer, it's a decimal integer. v1 has n plus m digits. That's the only thing where I can play, है ना? मैंने v1 को construct करना, I have to construct an integer from the Boolean formula. What do I have? How do I construct an integer? I construct it digit by digit. I tell you what's the first digit, second digit क्या होगा, third digit क्या होगा, right? I don't have any, कोई और मेरे पास freeway है नहीं. That looks like the only thing I can do. Yes, no? क्या? I'm really excited about this reduction, so I want you to be excited about it too. That will become clear in a moment. क्या? So v1 is an integer. It's an integer. उसके digits में आपको specify कर देता हूँ. It's an n plus m digits number. It's a huge number. So if you have 100 variables and 100 clauses, then v1 will be a 200 digit. But that's okay. It's still polynomial, right? Yes? बोलो क्या?
v1 and v1 dash are separate integers from our set.
They are separate integers, yes. They are two separate integers for each variable. Okay, so let's construct these variables. Let's construct the integers, yeah.
Why n plus m?
वो अभी क्लियर हो जाता है, वो मैं अभी क्लियर करता हूँ. ओके, वो अभी हम कंस्ट्रक्ट करेंगे तो you'll see कि हमें इतने चाहिए. Alright, v1 को कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए आई एम गोइंग टू पुट 1 for one of the variable columns जहाँ पे वो जिस variable को वो correspond करता है. Okay, so v1 corresponds to the first variable, so I'll have a 1 here for x, and this everything else would be 0. Okay, v1 bar also corresponds to the first variable, so it will be 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay. इसको कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हुए मैंने x4 को पहले लिख दिया. Oh, I'm not doing it. So v1 dash is not a complement of v1. It's a different variable. Bar corresponds to the complement of the variable in the original Boolean formula. It does not correspond to the. Again, this is not a binary representation. This is a integer decimal representation. All right. So far, what I have done is I have tried to make sure that I can only pick in my subset either v1 or v1 dash. दोनों को, if I pick both of them, then I should have a problem. Okay? That sounds like a logical thing to do, right? How do I make sure कि इन दोनों को मैं pick नहीं कर सकता? So far, I could pick both of them, right? But there is a way to make sure that I cannot pick both of them. Yes? एक को 0 कर दें. But how would that forbid me कि मैं उसको pick ना कर सकूं? But you can't restrict. Subset sum problem में तो आप नहीं restrict कर सकते ना कि वो pick ना करे. So what do you do?
एक positive number और एक negative number of same magnitude, so that if you pick both of them, तो वो वापस 0 हो जाएगा. तो it doesn't make a difference.
But that would allow me to pick both of them.
Again, it would be.
But it might be useless, but it could still allow me to pick both of them, है ना? There is a way to restrict that I am not allowed to pick one of them using the constraints of subset sum problem. Right. You're on the same line. But what do I do? So remember, I have to construct a set of integers, and I also have to construct t. T भी मेरे पास है ना? T भी मैंने construct करना है. So I construct t in a way that I can only pick either v1 or v1 dash. So what do I do? क्या? Yes. How do I do it? v1 dash को मैं नहीं छेड़ने वाला. t को मैं छेड़ सकता हूँ. What do I do with t? So anyone, I mean, he's on the same line जहाँ पे मैं जाना चाहता हूँ, पर it's not the exact solution. But there is a way to make sure that I cannot pick this by doing something to t. What do I do? क्या? I'm gonna give you one absolute point on your file if you give me the answer. Yeah.
The sum of v1 and v1 prime is greater than t.
How what do I do? अभी तो t decide ही नहीं हुआ ना कि t क्या है. How do I make sure जो तुम कह रहे हो? How do I make sure? This is what I want to do. If I pick both of them, I should get something that's bigger than t, that does not give me t. How do I do it?
Reduce t by v1.
Sorry, what?
Reduce t by v1
बोलो. इधर आगे आ जाओ. आगे आ जाओ, मुझे आवाज़ नहीं आ रही तुम्हारी.
DSU रख लिया, उनको एक डिसजॉइंट सेट में रख लिया ताकि फिर आप उनका रूट सेम होगा तो उनको आप उसमें ना डाल सकें.
इतना फैंसी काम नहीं करना, बहुत सिंपल काम करना है.
ये कर नहीं सकते सर.
Remember, all I'm allowed to do is I'm allowed to construct these variables and construct t. That's all I'm allowed. I'm not allowed to do any fancy stuff beyond that. Bolo?
x1 के कॉलम में t को भी 1
Absolutely. This is what I do. If I put a 1 in t in that particular digit, उन दोनों को मैंने पिक किया तो मेरे पास वहाँ पे 2 आ जाएगा. Right? तो वो t से बड़ा हो जाएगा. Right? Yes, no? Okay? So all I have to do is make sure कि उस particular column में I get a 1. Okay? If I do that, I'm good. I have made sure by putting a 1 in that particular column कि I can only pick one of those numbers. Yes, no? Yes? Okay. Okay, good. You get 1 point. Awesome. Okay, ठीक है. So far, so good. What do I do in the clauses thing? यहाँ पे I have to figure out what should be C1, C2, C3 for X, for V1 literal. Again, goal वही है कि if I have variables which satisfy a particular clause, उस clause का sum t के equal आना चाहिए. Okay, so first of all, number will make sure that when I sum them up, I don't get any carry. Okay, तो इस तरह का कोई nonsense नहीं होगा. Okay, if I sum everything, I still get something that's smaller than 9. Okay, so that I'm going to make sure. So forget about carry. All I have to do is I have to, if there, so C1 will have how many literals? C1 में literals कितने होंगे? 3. There are going to be 3 literals. And if one of them is picked to be true, then C1 should satisfy T. है ना? C1 में वो variable अगर pick किए तो I should get C1 equal to T. Right? So what do I do? V1 और C1 के केस में Boolean formula कहाँ गया? और लिखा है ऊपर. So what if I put 1 for the clause that includes this literal? Okay, that seems like a logical thing to do. Okay, so if C1 contains x1, which it does, so I'm going to put a 1 here. C2 does not contain x1, so 0. C3 contains x1, so 1. Okay, all right. What about V1 dash? Or V1 bar? क्या?
So the same thing, because n in x1 belongs to those particular clauses, but the way you would go about it is कि essentially t का जो C1, C2, C3 का जो sum होगा has to be 3, right?
Okay, that's good. Awesome. Why should it be 3?
Because any literal that belongs to a particular clause must have any clause must have 3 literals within it.
Huh.
So if any literal is being part of a particular clause, तो उसके में से 1 add होगा.
Awesome.
अगर आप 3 literals
Awesome.
use करते हो तो वो clause select होगा.
Cool. You get 1 point. You get 1 point. Awesome. Cool. This was a very logical thing to do जो मैं next करने वाला था कि this should not be more than 3. This should be equal to 3. All right. अब बोलो तुम्हारा question क्या है?
मैं ये कहने लगा था कि फिर अगर let's assume कि आप
हाँ, V1 बार का क्या करना चाहिए?
V1 बार पे जा रहे हैं तो you would still use same clause का जो triangle to V1 है because you're already negating the both of them through the x1 वाली चीज़.
So x1 वाली चीज़ is making sure कि I pick only one of them.
You pick only one. So आप clause में 101 लिख सकते हैं. It should not make that much of a difference because T at the end.
So clause से I have to make sure कि if that clause becomes true because of that literal, then it should satisfy that clause column.
Yeah.
Okay?
But
So
might be satisfying all columns at the same time with any selection.
So here's what I'm gonna do. मेरे ख्याल में शायद I'm gonna do what you propose, which is कि I'm gonna put 1 for each clause where v1 where x1 negated appears. Okay? So 0 I guess and 1 and 1. Okay? ठीक है? Let's fill it up. There will be a problem और उसको जो भी fix करेगा he's gonna get 1 point. Okay? All right, so V1 to V2, is it V2? V2 थोड़ा सा मुझे बताएंगे V2 कहाँ पे अपेयर होता है? So first of all, तो ये होना चाहिए, right? ये वाला part is easy, right? V3 is 0, 0, 0, 1. V3 bar is 0, 0, 0, 1. And this is 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, okay? Everywhere 1. Okay, V2 कहाँ पे है? V2 is in class 2 and class 3. यहाँ पे नहीं है. V2 bar कहाँ पे है? It's in the first class. V3 is in first one only. 1, 0, 0. V3 bar is in second one. 0, 1, 0. V4 is in the last class only. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. All right. So far, so good. We have constructed a proposed reduction from the original Boolean formula to a subset sum problem. Okay, so we have a set of numbers, or we have a target sum, or looks promising to me. Okay, bolo.
तो V1 बार का C3 क्यों 1 है?
V1 बार का C3 1 नहीं होना चाहिए, because I'm bit. Okay, good catch. Right? Yeah, good. Okay. Do we all agree that we have a reduction? Someone is going to point out a problem in the reduction. Okay, so I have a Boolean formula and I have a subset sum problem. And what I'm saying is that if there is a truth assignment of the Boolean formula, then there are subset of integers that sum up to t. Okay, that's the plan. And agar truth assignment nahi hai, तो you cannot pick any subset of numbers which sum up to t. Okay, and kind of logical, reasonable correspondence is that you pick v1 if you set x1 to true in the original formula, and you pick v1 bar if you set it to false in the original formula. Okay? Cool. So any issue? So let me try to figure out what's going on. So we want this column should sum up to 3, right? This is what we want, which means I should pick this, this, and this. Okay, I should pick v1, and I should pick v2 bar, and I should pick v3. Okay, which means I should set the first variable to true, second variable to false, and the third variable to true to make this 3. Is this what we want? To So to get 3 here, I need to pick all 3 of these. Is this what we want? Logically? What is a clause? Clause is a disjunction or a or of 3 literals. To satisfy a clause, what you need to make sure is that at least one of them is picked to be true. Not all of them. यहाँ पे we are requiring that all 3 of them are picked. Okay? We should be happy if only one of them is picked. Okay? Which means कि यहाँ पे 1 होना चाहिए instead of 3. Yes, no? अगर ऐसा है तो फिर इसको 1 पॉइंट वापस जाएगा. यहाँ पे 3 ही होना चाहिए क्योंकि our class should be satisfied if at least one of its literals is true, which means it should be satisfied when 1 literal out of 3 is true. It should be satisfied when 2 out of 3 literals are true. It should still be satisfied if all 3 of the literals are true. Okay? So we want 3 here, but what we want is that if one of them is, at least one of them is picked, this I should get a 3 here. Okay? So what you do is you add a slack variable, slack integer per class. Okay? So you, for each class, you will have a, what do we call slack variables? I don't remember, but let's call them x1. x1 may use guys now. Let me use y1. And y1 will be equal to 0 everywhere except c1. And z1 exactly the same. All right. So these slack variables allow us to get 3 in the c1 column sum. Okay. So if I picked all 3 of these literals, I will get 3 by default. That's not a problem. If I get only one of these variables, then the sum of these things would be 1. And I could pick corresponding y1 and z1 to make a 3 here. Okay? If I pick 2 out of 3, I could pick 1 of y1 and z1 to make it 3. Okay? So I add a slack variables to allow कि उसका sum 3 के equal होना चाहिए. Okay? So that kind of completes the reduction. मैं थोड़ा सा आपको इसकी जो slide है वो दिखा देता हूँ. So these are the variables जो हमने अभी construct किए, and these are the variables that are the slack variables, okay, that allow you to get C for the class variable, class sum. Okay. Questions? So 2 times the number of clauses. I need 2 slack variables per clause. फिर हमारा sum 3 के equal नहीं हो सकता. So if we don't pick any of the 3 literals of the clause, फिर मेरा sum at most 2 होगा, 3 के equal नहीं होगा. Which means कि अगर Boolean formula satisfiable नहीं है, तो फिर ये sum t के equal नहीं हो सकता. And that's what we want, right? We want no instance corresponds to a no instance. Right? I'll summarize it next time when we meet on Wednesday. ये slides मैं आज upload कर दूँगा, so you can go through them. Okay? See you on Wednesday. क्या? For each class, yes. 2 slack variables per class.